In today's video, I want to talk about the difference between full range liquidity pools and concentrated liquidity and the pros and cons of each, plus look at real returns. So in this instance, I am in a ETH USDC position, been in this for around 20 days, collected $210 of fees on only $4,500, still in range. We can also look at a position that I've been in for 40 days and recently gone out of range, sitting on $600 of uncollected fees. And here's an example of a full range liquidity pool, been in this for 40 days, have only $60 of collected fees, and is a full range liquidity pool. And I'm using this for educational purposes. I've actually been running both of these for the exact same length of time. And then here's another example, a sold USDC position, been in this for almost 12 days, collected $421 of fees on Orca, and still in range. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the simulator. So I'm going to take for granted that you found an opportunity that you want to dive into. You used our liquidity pool, finder, and let's just say that, hey, over on base, you like this wrapped ETH USDC position, you like the total value locked, you like the volume, and you want to simulate that position. So you head on over to the simulator, and here's what you have to remember. In a concentrated liquidity pool, your capital is being used more efficiently, but you are making some decisions here. So yes, you do earn more. Instead of spreading your capital across the entire range from 0 to infinity, you're saying, I want to provide liquidity. I want to provide my capital so traders can trade, swap, buy, sell, and I'll be earning fees in that range. But if I go out of range, I stop earning fees, and impermanent loss, or probably more accurately, divergence loss, is going to be much more profound. And we'll show you an example of what we mean by that. So if I zoom out, and I keep zooming out on this liquidity distribution chart, if you provide full range, you'll be providing liquidity all the way from $0 all the way to infinity, but there's no trades happening here. No one is buying, no one is selling, and so your capital wouldn't be very efficient. You'd be getting paid tiny percentage of that pool, whereas someone like me who provides liquidity in a concentrated within a range, I'm getting a much larger chunk of those fees. So we're talking about the difference between probably like 5, 8, 10% returns to like 50, 60, 70. So using DeFiBuddy, you can see liquidity distribution. You can also come in here and actually back test. So this is the price of ETH. It's swinging quite widely right now, but you could zoom out and you could start making some decisions to provide liquidity in a certain range based on history. And I could also say, hey, over the last 90 days, if I was in this range and I go to 90 days, what would my estimated earnings be? And just to have fun with this example, you can see that the tighter you go, watch the estimated APR on the bottom right, the higher it's going to go into, like, we could get ridiculous with it. And why is that? Like, is this sustainable? The answer is, well, no, because you'd be so tight that the second ETH moves by literally $50, you'd be out of range. So yes, if we look at liquidity distribution, you'd be collecting a large chunk, a large percentage of the fees earned, because you'd be the one providing most of the liquidity in that very specific tight range, whereas others are probably spread out a little wider. And now it's a question of how long do you stay in range, for how long do you earn those fees? So let's look at some real world examples here. Here's Sol USDC, which, by the way, we do track Sol and Orca on DeFiBuddy. We are integrating VFAT, then we're integrating SUI. You can go over to the docs section and actually check out our roadmap to see what's coming. If you ever have any input or want to see something with DeFiBuddy, we are working 24/7 on building the best tool for anyone who's actually investing in DeFi. If you have been using this tool, you know it's free. We cover the cost, plus $1 of every UIG membership does go into the development of DeFiBuddy. So this is built by investors, by our community. And all we ask in return is, if this tool has been helpful, or if you've been using it, just share the word. If you create content, throw it in your content. Show people how to use it. Let's get more people into DeFi and building profitable portfolios. And I know this tool can be a big help for people doing that. So that's all we ask in return. All right, so let's look at the sold USDC position. I've earned $421 in the last, call it 12 days. And I'm in a 176 to a 206 range, which is about 16% wide, which is a little on the tighter end, but based on my TA, I made the decision to do just that. So remember, in 12 days, earned almost, well, over $400 on 10K. Have a look at this full range liquidity pool on ETH. 40 days, I earned $60 on about the same amount of capital with a, of course, full range. from 0 to infinity. You can see where the trade-off in that lies. Whereas over here, with about half the amount of capital and about half the amount of time, I've earned 4x what that full range liquidity pool's done in a 30% wide range, which is kind of where I like to be. And by the way, this is over on Aerodrome, which DeFi Buddy also tracks. All that to say, you can see the difference. And my invite to you is take $100 or take $200 or whatever you're comfortable with. Maybe $20. Split it up in two. $10. Enter the exact same pair on the exact same DEX in the exact same fee tier. Enter one full range, enter one 20%, and don't overthink it. Just use a tiny amount of capital and see for yourself after running that experiment for 1 week. Have a look at what earned more, but also look at the divergence. You're going to see greater swings in your concentrated liquidity pool, and so now it is a game, and the game that we play as liquidity providers is have my fees outpaced what I would have done just holding. And by the way, do remember, you'll see impermanent loss whether the price is going down or it's going up. And I don't want to throw too much at you. Again, we can make a series of videos around this. If you do want a video breaking down impermanent loss, just let me know in the comments. But you can combat that impermanent loss by actually lending out your blue chip assets so you don't miss out on the upside of these assets, borrowing against it, and then using your DeFi portfolio strictly for cash flow, where you don't care to see impermanent loss, especially on the upside, because you're not missing out on any of that upside. This is strictly for cash flow, and you can actually even rebalance before you even exit your range, which we actually like to do if you're using that strategy. Again, I could talk for hours about this, so if you want any specifics broken down, maybe you want specific strategies and you'd like me and the team to jump on this DeFi Buddy channel and share specific strategies, happy to do it. But for now, jump into DeFi Buddy, have a look at the Explorer, have fun with the simulator, see how it works, backtest, check out liquidity distribution, and that's a great place to start. By the way, you can also say like, hey, I'm depositing $10,000, what would that be every week, etc., etc. So you can use this as a tool to make better decisions as a DeFi investor. If this video has been helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you like this channel, subscribe. This channel is strictly for DeFi Buddy users. And if it has been helpful, just share the word of DeFi Buddy. Again, if you're a creator, hit me up. If you want me to come present DeFi Buddy to your audience, or if you want to use it, we do have some perks for creators who are using DeFi Buddy in their content. So you can check that out in the docs section, reach out to me directly, or just let me know in the comments if you want to be a collaborator. We love to work with other investors and share the word of DeFi Buddy, and ultimately just help your audience get better results. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. Again, like, subscribe, let me know what you'd like to see. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.